So I did say at the end of the last episode, I think I might be about to blow a huge lead at the top of the table, and you thought I was just messing around. Well, it turns out I was absolutely right. Look at our form at the top of the table, and we're still only 2 points clear. Who on earth are Bravo? I hear you cry. That is a great question. We're going to show you everything that's been going on over the last few games. It has been epically exciting for the neutral. It's been absolutely terrifying for me, to be honest. I've had the window open for much of the last few games, with the PC just on the ledge, ready to shove off if we suffered yet another defeat, and there were many a few games ago. Let me assure you, it all started with the last episode. So that 0-0 draw with Maribor in our last episode meant that we had only won one of our last 4 games. But it got worse in our next fixture as we missed a penalty against Telia that would have put us into the lead. But instead, Telia won the game with a spot kick of their own. And then because of a postponement earlier in the season, we played Telia for the second game running. This time, we travelled to their stadium. But despite going a goal down, we battled back bravely thanks to some charity from our opponents. After Gregorine capitalised on a gift from their goalkeeper, it was Ivacic's turn as they tried to dribble across their own goal line, and he pounced. That put us 2-1 up at half-time, but in the second period, I'm afraid that we collapsed once more. After a quick equaliser, Telia then went 3-2 up with another goal that left a lot to be desired defensively, and as we pressed for an equaliser, 3-2 quickly became 4-2. And I'm afraid Telia were not done as they added a 5th deep into stoppage time. By now, morale was starting to suffer, and I was questioning the tactic, and in the next fixture, we lost 2-1 to Copa. But then we had a cup quarter-final against Bravo, and what do you do when you're in a bit of a spot? Well, you call for the 4-4-2, and it worked as we won this game 2-0, despite the fact that our XG was not that good. But it proved to be the catalyst to our revival as we went on to win the next 5 league games against Goritza, bottom of the table side Tabor Shajana. Next came a nervy 3-2 win against Olympia in a match where we were leading 3-0 at one point. Before another tight game at 9th place Mura, and we took the lead early, but it was the only goal of the game. But in our most recent encounter, we looked impressive as we dominated against Maribor in a 2-0 win. And so we are going to stick with it. The 4-4-2 is not pretty. In fact, it's a return to some quite industrial football, reliant on wing play and balls into the box. But that seems to have been the formation that has dug us out of a hole, and it means that we are now 2 points clear at the top of the table, and we've brought you back for an episode against the team that's behind us in second. Now, the 4-4-2 does allow us to still get our strongest players out onto the field with a bit of rejigging. It means that Tiegler needs to go over and be a wide man. Maybe not ideal, but we don't have a lot of options out there on the right. But over on the left we do, where we've got Simon Gregorine, who, well, I say a lot of options. He's our only option, but he is a mighty fine one when he's fit, and unfortunately at the moment he isn't, and he's still going to be out injured for another couple of weeks. So the man that's been deputising for the last game or two has been Nate Slavett, who's wanted to leave the club for good 18 months now, and I don't really think he's ideally suited to being a left winger in a flat 4-4-2, but we really are bereft of options. The only player that can really play out there is a young man who's only 5'3" called Demir Chinchilla, and, well, I don't think he's the man for this occasion, to be honest, so we're going to go with Levetz. It also means that we've just got a midfield too, so it's a lot of work to do for Kaucic and for Kasnic, and we don't have quite as much protection for our back four, but it does mean that we can bombard the opposition with balls into the box, and young Ivatic and dirty Denis Valencic will hopefully get onto some of those balls today. But it's going to be a tricky game, because if we show you the form of today's opponents, They are stubborn little opposition. So who on earth are NK Bravo Ljubljana? Well, they are Olympia's city rivals, but it's the smaller outfit that are performing well this campaign. And their form, in all honesty, is bothersome, and they've not lost a game since before the winter break. And they've won their last 7 league games, barely conceding a goal in the process. And it's that man Adnan Zildzovic who's at the helm, and he is doing a mighty fine job. And their danger man is Uros Vincic, who's rattled in 12 goals so far this season. We will at least get to play this clash in front of our own fans, as we're the home team as Dob take on Bravo. So as games of Football Manager go, I really don't think they come an awful lot bigger than this. It turns out that us and Bravo are the 2 biggest teams in Slovenian football this season. Forget Olympia, forget Maribor, even forget defending champions Koper. It's us and the other team from Ljubljana that are going toe to toe. It looked like we were going to run away with the league until that disastrous run. And even though we have picked up of late, as Sifa picks up the ball, we just cannot shake Bravo. They win every single game 1-0, and we just cannot re-establish our lead at the top of the table. It currently stands at just 2 points. By the end of today's game, we could be trailing them by 1, and that is just unthinkable considering just a few short weeks ago we were 11 clear at the top of the table. Here is Tigla. He has stepped up and he's curled home what could be a vital little free kick goal. Oh goodness, Kaučić has been taking the majority of our set pieces this season, but this time Tigla's the man that fancied it. It's hit the upright and then bounced into the net. We're not going to take anything for granted there. It's only a 1-goal lead. We've blown those. Well, on plenty of occasions this season, we've blown 2-goal leads. Sure, on one game, we even blew a 3-goal lead. So we're not getting ahead of ourselves. But the 4-4-2 has rescued us, as we all knew that it would. And here is Krasnić crossing the halfway line and then surrendering possession. Tigla bails him out. And now we've got the ball to Mitrovic in defence. We're all over the place. I'm not sure why our left back was dancing into central midfield. Here he goes again. Krasnić out to Levec as Kaučić steps up for a corner. We dash in at the near post. It comes to nothing, but we go again. Let's go for the far post this time, shall we? No, we've gone near post again, and it's exactly the same ensemble, I'm afraid, as Levec picks up the ball, curls an effort towards the far post. It comes to nothing, but we have played reasonably well in this first half. This would take the lead to 5 points if we could hold on. Bravo have had just 1 shot as we hit the half-time point, but it is very close on the XG. The boys responded positively to the team talk, but the front 2 aren't playing that great, are we? Ivacic on a 6.6, Valencic not doing much better. Even on defence, we've got 3 of our back 4 playing below a 7, so we are keeping an eye on performances out there. We're keeping an eye on fitness as well. We've had a lot of games recently, and during the break, we sent a few of them off on holiday just to try. Oh, I thought that was going to go in. Just to try and get a little bit of freshness back into them. I'm not sure it's worked that well as we've won a corner. It's a strong start to the second period, but this lead is so fragile. And when Bravo shift it up a gear, we're going to have to decide what we're going to do. We curl it into the near post once more. Why we keep replaying that same corner, I do not know. It's not working. There's a tactical foul from Krasnić. I think that's a good one. And we're going to have to be wary of the response from Bravo. And what are we going to do? Are we going to shift it up a gear and fight fire with fire when it comes? Or are we going to try and drop back? Here comes the response. 64 minutes on the clock. They still only had 1 effort on goal all game. There's their second, and it was a close one. And on 65 minutes, we've got 2 poor performers in attack. And I think one of them's going to have to make way. Young Martin Ivacic is the man that came off. Pasha is the man that's come on to replace him. And we've not seen a highlight since we made those changes. And we are now on the 82nd, 83rd, 84th minute. We're going to pause once more. We're going to just go for the instructions and we're going to throw on just the merest hint of time wasting. I think we're going to try and hang on for a 1-0 win. We're now hitting the 90th minute. 3 have been added on. We're going to go for another. We're not going for a shout. We're going to go for the full time wasting. We've got some poor performers out there, including Levette and Kasnic in the midfield. I think we're going to make a substitution as well. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time before we can make it, though, and Valencic is in. And I think they're going to have a look at offside, aren't they? Surely? Or is it going to count? This could be the biggest goal in Dirty Dennis's filthy little career. Sifa, he's just sent a long ball over the top, and their goalkeeper, for some reason, is parading around on the edge of his area. And Dirty Dennis has decided to go around him, and that's the first thing he's really done of note in this game. Let's get Jaka Kasnic off. The man that's going to come on is young Ivor as the ball-winning midfielder, and Levets is playing poorly as well. I think we're going to go for Gajic out there. He can't play there, but we're just looking to get fresh players out to see us to the full-time whistle, and this could be a crucial win, and God bless the 4-4-2. It has come and rescued us at the time when we needed it the most, and Bravo could not cope with it today. Let's see how that's going to leave the table looking after a win that we desperately needed. So it's a 36-game season in Slovenia. That's 31 ticked off. We've got a 5-point gap at the top of the table, but that means nothing. We've blown an 11-point lead this season. So we are not getting ahead of ourselves, but it is getting mighty close as we press on for the title in the Dobfather.